What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today's video is a little bit different. It's about I bought a new toy for two purposes. One is for camping, but when people buy this certain toy that I'll show you here in a second, when they buy it for camping, they usually buy a much smaller version. I kind of want to overkill for the whole camping and overlanding aspect of it because it serves two purposes for me. So it involves this stuff right here. So I've got a good amount of food storage. The church I go to, aside from teaching about salvation through Christ and that stuff, they also talk about, hey, like the Bible prophesies that in the last days, there'll be a lot of catastrophes. And we see that right now in the news all the time. You know, there's massive flooding happening lately and wildfires, and there's often earthquakes and stuff like that. And so I have a bit of a safety net here. So I wouldn't be that worried or be in that much trouble if something bad happened. And I also have these two freezers right here. And this is food storage. This is just because it's I buy half a cow every year, you know? And I was thinking to myself, you know, if we had an earthquake, then after maybe 4 or 5 days or so, then all this beautiful meat would probably be thawed. And then by day 5 or 6, it'd be spoiled. And I'd be so sad, right? I'd probably just, have a bunch of jars. I had to just boil the meat and can it, which is like the worst way to eat meat, And so I was like, I think I should go ahead and get some sort of a generator for camping and also just for emergency preparedness. And as I was looking at all the different generators out there, I was kind of weighing the pros and cons between, price point of, some of the cheaper, the Furman that Costco sells, for example. It's a dual fuel. It could be gas or propane. And propane is easier to store than gas. So that was kind of appealing. My in-laws have some Honda generators like the 2200s. Very fuel efficient, good power, very reliable. But still, it's like, man, it'd be hard to store enough fuel to use for a long period of time. And so I began to look at these bad boys right here, solar generators. And so this is going to be a bit of an unboxing video. I did a ton of research. I watched so many mashups. And so this F2000 that I got by Anker, it's overkill for the camping and overlanding, but it works kind of for everything then in that case. But I'm going to set up, after I get it charged in my backyard and kind of experiment with it out there, I'll bring it in here and I'll power my freezers and see how good that works. Anyways, enough yapping. So I have already unpackaged this once just to look at it. Here's all the cables, all the chargers and stuff like that for it. But I was pretty impressed with how sturdy the packaging is. Nice thick foam everywhere. Yeah, this was around it obviously, but it's a pretty beautiful. It's a beautiful generator. But this one, because it is so heavy, it does have this little handle, and those nice wheels. So, which is cool. Like for if someone else is using it, I don't mind carrying it, but it is a pretty heavy box. So. Now, a couple things that made me choose this one specifically. This size of generator has something called pass-through charging, which I'll show you outside here in a second. I actually end up plugging my Traeger into this thing while I'm charging it from the sun. And so I'll show you that pass-through charging. And then also, this has a lower operating temperature, and I'll discuss that a bit more too here in a second. But this panel is pretty heavy as well. So I just plugged it in and that came on, but let me first show you the solar panel. It's big. It's big. I didn't realize how big this thing was. Now I see why it's so heavy. There's a 400 watt panel. I also could have gotten, 100 watt panels or like 200 watt panels, which would have basically been, this as one and there'd be two of them. If I could go back, maybe I would have done that because this is a pretty big, heavy panel. And kind of hard. It's kind of hard to actually get straight to then open it up and everything like that. Maybe having two would be a bit easier to deal with possibly, but they seem very well made. And this is very sturdy. It all buttoned together when it was folded up, and these kind of button down nicely as well. I can actually move it. Oh, I should maybe get a bit more of an angle to it. But yeah, it came with two of these. I just, you hook them up. There's like some arrows and then a plus minus on the other sides. And you hook them together to this fork and then into the back, and then it actually came on. But now it's off, so let's see what I do. So it's at 85%. Nice display. So I'm getting 287 coming into it. Output 1 watt. Oh, because my light's on. So output 2 watts. So now 0 output. So it says in 1.1 hours it'll be full. So check this out, guys. So man, so I just moved this. It was, it was angled like this. So I just changed it, the angle a little bit. So I'm like right perpendicular to the sun. And now I'm at 377. Oh, can you see that? So now as you can see, I'm at 377 watts after changing the angle of it. So now it's 0.8 hours to get to that full charge. So that's pretty cool. I mean, just seeing that little bit of a change made about 100 watt difference in my input. Another reason why I chose this one specifically, you can't tell right now because it's a beautiful sunny day. It is 17 degrees right now Fahrenheit outside. And most other generators actually, they only work down to freezing. This one works down to 5 degrees to charge. 5 degrees Fahrenheit, and I think it's like 105 Fahrenheit. The other ones though, they could charge it to it could be like 120 outside and you could charge them. So if you're like in Arizona, a different one might be better in that regard to use it when it's super hot outside. But I wanted it to be, I like that this could work down at a lower temperature because it gets so cold here in the winter sometimes. So let's see, I decided just for fun, I plugged my smoker into this. So let's see if, so I had a towel. I was smoking a pork butt a couple days ago, but I'll just turn it on here. Hold on. Oh, I must need to, right here. Let's see, 60 hertz. There we go. Smoker's on. Let's see how much power it's drawing out. Oh, that's it. That's it. Look at that. 228 for a smoker. And I got 380 coming into it. So I could still charge, 2.5 hours from now, I'd be fully charged while smoking some meat in my smoker. So that's pretty cool. I mean, that means a fridge must be lower than that. I imagine these are pretty intense. So yeah, that's cool to see. But I love that. I love the pass-through charging you can do because, it sucks to do either or. If you need to use it during the daytime. So yeah, I'm happy with that. Okay, here we go. So I have all 3 of them plugged in, and the compressors kicked on for all of them. And I'm only at 166 watts, which would give me 10 hours of them actively running. And obviously, as you're running these things, once they get to temp, they turn off for a while. And so then it actually would conserve battery life. But I could be actively powering all 3 of these and then charging it with a solar panel outside, with extension cord into the fridges, obviously. And I could still be charging this thing with, 200 watts of extra solar going into the battery. So that's pretty freaking cool. Pretty happy about this, I'll be honest, guys. Let me go ahead and show y'all what it comes with too. So these right here, these came with the panels, okay? This came with the generator box because you can't buy this without buying a solar panel. You could just buy it to then, charge it. You can charge, this right here is a wall charger. This right here is what you use to charge it from your car. So this can plug into the cigarette outlet. And then this right here is an adapter. They do have different panel options, right? You could have just 100 or 200 watt panels and have multiple of those hooked up. If I remember right, this can have up to 1,000 watts of charge going in. And so you could have 5 200 watt panels. They would hook together on this and then go into the generator that way. So this comes also with the generator itself. Guys, one more thing I want to add here. The last clips, the audio was botched in my last one, so it's been a couple weeks since I shot those first films. But this right here, it's a lithium ion phosphate battery. Now, the original solar generators and still some of the smaller ones, it's just lithium ion. And those have about like 400 to 500 uses before they're down to 80% capacity. But the lithium ion phosphate batteries have like 4,000 uses before they hit 80% capacity. And so this F2000 has the lithium ion phosphate battery. If you think you'll be using a battery, one of these solar generators a ton, it's obviously definitely worth it to get one that's lithium ion phosphate just to lengthen out that lifespan. So, and then also I'll add, it's expandable. Anker makes and sells these expansion packs where it just makes the battery, it makes it like a 4,000 watt battery versus a 2,000 watt battery. And so just, if you need a ton of power, obviously this can fit the bill for that as well. So for me, this is fine. I mean, as we saw, I'll be smoking meat during the apocalypse, so it's going to be great. Can't ask for much more than that. But guys, if this video is helpful, please subscribe. Please like it no matter what, just to be nice, even if the video sucked. But hopefully you found this useful. I tried to give some good, real world shots of it and share some good information, some good specs that were on my mind when I chose this versus a different option. So, but I'll be definitely bringing this with me camping to Lake Powell. Using it in a disaster if that ever happens. Hopefully it won't, but just in case, I'm good to go. So if you guys have a bit of a chink in your preparedness, this might be a good way to fill it. So give it some serious thought, and I'll catch you guys next video.